During the 2024 Scottsdale auction at WestWorld, Barrett-Jackson gathered an impressive array of more than 2,000 vehicles to cross the auction block. The top performers at the world's greatest collector car auctions included supercars, original muscle cars, and resto mods. Hi there, I'm Rick DeBrule. Here's a look at your 10 best sellers from the 2024 Barrett-Jackson Scottsdale auction. We'll start things off with something that's tied at number 10, a Brabus modified 2014 Mercedes-Benz G63 AMG 6x6.
This is a 2014 Mercedes-Benz AMG G63 Brabus 6x6 B63S 700. Alphabet soup, but wow, what a truck.
Yeah, let's go backwards on the end of that, Mike. 700 is how much they tuned the twin-turbo V8 to 700 horsepower. And boy, did they need to, because this thing's been lengthened. First, it's been lifted with the portal axles, an additional axle added to the back. All 6 wheels get that 700 horsepower. Ridiculous build.
Yeah, you want to be the biggest one on your block. This is absolutely going to do it because, once again, you got those up there. Look at these 2 massive sets of axles back here. You know, if we really want to get carried away, I guess we could have made them dualies in there. But look at the suspension. And once again, this is not just 6 wheels. This is 6-wheel drive. Look at the transfer case going back to the differential back there.
Now, these are not officially imported. This truck is here under the NHTSA show and display rule, and it has 10,000 actual miles.
And you can see with the lengthen, they kept the cab mostly the same. You just have a truck bed now. And to help with bumper regulations, because it's so high, they added this to the bottom so a sports car doesn't slide underneath. And it's also been widened massively. You can see these huge fender flares on the side, so it's not cracking windshields as it spits rocks out of the tires.
And to point out on the car card, while they talk about the fact this is under show and display import rules, it doesn't say it can't be driven off-road, on-road, or anything like that. So it sounds like the showing and displaying would involve taking it on roads.
Well, I believe it was brought in under show and display, but then it was made emissions legal, which can be done. It is very expensive to do, though.
700 horsepower, 7-speed automatic, cool indeed, because you've got spectacular technology and engineering and power and comfort front to the back. You're bringing $1 million, and you want to be wrong. You got 730, you got 740, 50. And when you say 50, 75, 5, you got 180, 188.
Well, sometimes we talk about how certain cars are, a great deal per pound. Well, this one's moving past that. In terms of overall weight, it's huge, it's big. Overall price, it's right up there as well.
As Craig was saying, I think these were around $1 million, and they didn't stop with the axles. Look at the interior. White carbon fiber, special stitching in the seats. Wow.
$800,000.
The number 9 spot is a track-focused version of the McLaren 720S. It's the 765 LT Longtail Spider.
Here's on number 1382 is going to be the 2022 McLaren 765 LT Spider. Now this long tail debuted in 2020 with an awesome look, deceptive luxury, stunning race bred performance. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the 765 LT Spider.
All right, how to get down 40 paint, have it down, how to get down 70, give $1 million, and $1 million, how to get down 70, give $1 million, how to get down 70, give $1 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, and $400,000, and $400,000, how to get down 4, 5, and $500,000, how to get down 5, 5, 5, and $500,000, how to get down 5, 6, and $600,000, 7, and $700,000, how to get down 550, now 6, now 650, and $650,000, and $650,000, how to 7, now 50, and 7.5, 8, 8, 8, how to get 8, 8, 8, how to get 8, 8, half, 8.5, 9, and 900, and $900,000, and $900,000, how to get down 9, 9, 9, how to get down 9, to get down 9, to get down $900,000 all through, and 9, 9, and 9, 9, and $900,000, how to get down 9, to get down, had to get down, had to get down, $900,000, but to get down, had to videos all through, all done, and $900,000, and 999. Go ahead, Shane.
Exceptionally well optioned, ladies and gentlemen. Purchased from the McLaren in Beverly Hills by the seller after a search for the best possible example. This one's finished in McLaren MSO Volcano Yellow.
I'll do 825, 825, 800 now 25, 500 here to get 825, 825,000 to get down, what do you want to pay to get 825? Chisholm's in the lead, 800 now 25, and you're out still, sir. 825, you're out with Blake over here. 825 to get down, 500 here to get down, what do you want to pay to get all through? 825, 825 to get down, 5 to get down, 5 to get down, 5.5. Sold for $800,000.
Our number 8 spot was a 1997 Lamborghini Diablo VT Roadster, ordered new and in a one-off color by former President Donald Trump, who owned it for 4 years.
We now have a Lamborghini Diablo VT Roadster, which was bought new and ordered by Donald Trump. The only 1997 Diablo in blue Le Mans.
Here it is, Donald Trump's Lamborghini Diablo VT Roadster.
And these VT Roadsters, they were quite rare on their own without the Trump connection. Very rare with the VT Roadster, where that top's a single piece of carbon fiber that is removable and it clips onto the rear bonnet. VT also means all-wheel drive, so that almost 500 horsepower V12 in the back really hooks up. Gated manual transmission inside, and of course the iconic Lambo doors, those scissor doors that pop up, showing that you've arrived.
The VT stands for viscous traction, which is that all-wheel drive system. This was the Roadster that was really the second generation of the Diablo. It was introduced back in 1995, and they built these through 1998.
Look at all the cell phones on the auction block. It's as if the Batmobile was center stage. Haven't seen a crowd like this around a single car since the Batmobile sold at Barrett-Jackson.
Talking about that VT, the viscous traction system, you know, it's designed to really improve handling significantly. In fact, they say it'll do it by more than 40% in terms of grip.
Well, we were wondering what the Trump connection would do with this Diablo, and I would say probably double at the current bid what a normal VT Roadster would bring. And this one was driven and enjoyed for several years by former President Donald Trump, and just got $1 million.
Now this car has had 2 owners since Trump owned it, and when he bought this, he was a businessman and a reality TV star. And there we go, $1 million is the hammer price.
Lucky number 7 is home to a Jeff Hayes Customs Corvette, powered by an LS3 540 horsepower V8 engine mated to an automatic transmission.
Now here's a 1967 Corvette Custom Convertible.
Well, I got 2 words for you. Jeff Hayes. This is just incredible. Champagne with the Ghost Stinger stripes, the Corvette cross flags, linen leather interior, big turbine wheels. It's a 67 Stingray. That's the one you want. And nobody does them to this standard these days in a Corvette Resto-Man.
Yeah, custom chassis underneath. You look at that dash alone, the great work, the turned metal, the bezels, everything about this is great. And look at the number.
Told ya.
Could it be? Is this the one?
All right, Jeff Hayes, in your wildest dreams, did you see this happening today at Barrett-Jackson? What do you think?
Oh, it's amazing. Absolutely mind-blowing.
Well, so is your work.
Well, I appreciate that. It's wonderful.
We're creeping up on it. there it is, $1 million.
Awesome car.
Here's on number 13.
Holy moly.
Well, a couple hours, I said, when this car rolled to the stage, the roof would come off the place, and boy, did it. Two determined bidders who each refused to lose. Boy, that is every consignor's dream.
That is staggering, but not entirely unexpected. 1M on the sold sticker.
If you're enjoying this 10 best list, take a moment to go down and like and subscribe down below. That way you can watch more Barrett-Jackson auction right here on YouTube. Now, number 6 can accelerate from 0 to 60 in just 2.9 seconds and reach a top speed of 211 miles per hour. This Ferrari TDF is one of just 799 built.
Here's lot 1386, a 2017 Ferrari F12 TDF. We showed it to you earlier, Tour de France. Guys?
So I sometimes think what Enzo Ferrari would think about plug-in hybrids being built by his factory. But I think ultimately, if he knew what they were bringing in terms of price and profit, he'd be like, I'm all in. Because, you know, this modern generation of not supercars, but hypercars. You know, traditionally we talk about supercars. Well, those are like, you know, the normally aspirated, turbocharged, those kinds of things. But once they start to get into electrification, plug-in hybrids, electric, well, that becomes the hypercar world.
So the original Tour de France was a 250 GT, 1958-59, a long wheelbase, very capable road car with a good bit of track history. This retains the V12, but again, it is so much more than that. 770 horsepower from the normally aspirated 6.3-liter V12, 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds, top speed over 200 miles per hour.
And if you have never driven a car that will do 0 to 60 in 3 seconds or less, I gotta tell you, it'll literally make your head spin if you're not ready for it. You sometimes wonder how race car drivers could pull it off. And to be able to go 200 miles an hour, well, you've got to do it in the right place. And part of the thing is, you know, these are expensive cars, but see those tires right there? You've got to have tires that are capable of handling the speeds that these can produce. So you can't just go out and, you know, run over to Costco and pick up another set of tires.
The vents here in the fenders, a nod to the 250 Tour de France and 250 GTO. This car had a lot of sporting pretensions, but I don't ever recall them racing these.
I think, Mike, it's more of a commemorative sort of edition. The Tour de France from the 50s and 60s and the first heyday of GT racing, Grand Touring, meaning you could drive the car on the street or race it. The Tour de France, much like the Tour de France cycling race, with stops along the way. And they would have a hill climb or a time trial or a circuit track or whatever, go round and round. Ferrari dominated. 1.225 million. There's that number again.
Number 5 is a Ford GT powered by a 3.5-liter EcoBoost V6 engine backed by a 7-speed Getrag dual-clutch automatic transmission.
They had 13,000 applications to buy these. They only made 1,300 cars over the 5-year build window.
And it's interesting to look at the evolution of the modern Ford GT. The first Ford GT Modern Edition, that came out in 2005, 2006, was designed to look as close as possible to the GT40s that won Le Mans back in the late 60s. This was designed to be a race car for the street, and they didn't have any of the constraints of what it was supposed to look like. They simply could have as much fun, as much style, as much aerodynamic work they could, and boy, I think they achieved their goal. This is a race car for the street.
And talk about an engine. EcoBoost V6 may not sound that impressive, what you would find in a lot of pedestrian cars, but this one, 650 horsepower is what it's been tuned to. 0 to 60 around 3 seconds in between those beautiful flying buttress C-pillars.
Well, I promise you, these are a thrill to drive, easy to drive and handle, and they go right now.
Well, it's got these beautiful carbon fiber wheels, and one of the magic numbers associated with this one right here, only 35 miles on the odometer.
You see, this one was optioned without a stripe, And it's not a heritage, it's not a carbon series. Big money for an early GT.
Well, I think it's the low mileage. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's more than a few with low mileage, and some haven't been driven at all, but still, that's probably where the money is in this particular car. And the fact that, for whatever reason, today is bringing crazy money here at Barrett-Jackson.
The rare option on this one are the carbon fiber wheels as the hammer drops at $1,250,000.
Coming in at number 4 is a very special Porsche Carrera GT, one of 44 for 2005, finished in faience yellow for the U.S. market.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's a 2005 Porsche Carrera GT. Has just 3,526 actual miles.
All right, had to get down. What are you paying? How about $1 down? Had to get down to get this thing. I had to get down. What are you paying? How much here? All right, had to get down. What are you paying? How about $1 down? Had to get down. 70. Had to get down. I had to 100, 200, and 300, and 300 on them. $400,000 and $500,000 and $500,000. 3 and a half, 4, 5, 5, $600,000 and 600, 700 and $700,000 down. Had to get down. 70. Get 8, 8, 8. Had to get 8, 8, 8, 9, 9. 900 to get down. 900. $1 million is bid. $1,000,001, $1,002, $1,002, $1,001 to $1,002, $1,001 to $1,002, $200,000, $300,000, $1,002 to $1,003, $1,002 to $1,300,000 down to get down. 3, 4, $1,003 to $1,004, $1,004 you want 4, 5, $1,005 and $1,004 to $1,500,000 down to get down. $1,004 to $1,005, $1,005, 5, 5, 3, 4, $1,003 to $1,004, $1,003 to $1,400,000 down to get down. 4, 4, 4, $1,003 to $1,004. Shane, go ahead.
603 horsepower, 435 foot-pounds of torque. Ladies and gentlemen, red lines at 8,400 RPMs, just 3,526 actual miles.
4, I had to get down. Blake's into the $1,003. What'd you say, Dan? $1,004 and $1,004, 4, 4, I had to get down. $1,003 to $1,004 and $1,003 to $1,400,000 down to get down. $1,350. You want to do that? $1,350, $1,350 down to get down. $1,350, 4, 5, $1,004 and $1,005 and $1,004 to $1,005, $1,004 to $1,005, 500 to get down. $1,004 to $1,005 and $1,004 to $1,500,000 down to get down. Go ahead, Craig.
The car, these last analog Porsches, the V10, the way it sounds, this is the end of an era of the analog Porsche. After this, the supercar that'll be coming up later, the 918 came along in a very rare color. It's just under the money right now for what this car is.
4, 5, I had to get down. $1,004 to $1,005 and $1,450 and $1,450,000 down to 4.5, and now $1,500 and $1,500 and $1,500 had to get down. $1,450 and $1,500 and $1,500 had to get down. $1,500,000 down to get down. $1,500 and $1,500 and $1,500,000 down to get down. What do you $1,500 if you want it? And $1,500,000 to everybody else all through. And $1,500 and $1,500 and $1,500,000 down to get out. You're out. $1,500 and $1,500. Now $1,500 and $1,500 and $1,500. Dan,
you still can't go wrong at this price.
And $1,500. I can't tell, Dan. Now $6, $1,500 and $1,600, $1,600,000 down to get down. $1,600,000 and $1,600,000 down to get down. What do you want to pay to get all through? Now $7 and $1,007. Dan, you're out. And $1,007 and $1,007 and $1,007 and $1,008 and $1,008 down to get 8 down to get down. $1,007 to $1,008, $1,007 to $1,800,000 all through and a half. Thank you, Mr. Ron. Sold $1,700,000.
Rounding out the top 3 is a Mercedes 540K with a one-off body by the Mayfair Carriage Company.
This is the second to last car from Don's collection coming up. Disappearing top. It doesn't get any prettier.
All right, I had to get down. $500,000.
540K, the K for compressor, supercharged. Just what a beautiful car. It looks like it's going 150 miles an hour sitting still.
Well, and the motor itself was good for about 115 horsepower, but with that supercharger, that compressor kicking in, it was good up to 180 horsepower. In terms of speed, probably just a touch over 100 miles an hour. But boy, you did it in such style. And they were using the same stuff they were using on the race card. We're over $1 million.
Well, the dash on this is burl wood and mother of pearl. My goodness. Standard shift right-hand drive car. Let's have a look at this dashboard. Have you ever seen anything like this?
Well, the reality is all these cars were custom built from the word go.
Worth it.
It's not just that it's a special car. It came from the best collection, one of the best collectors out there who knew what to look for and what to buy.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Craig has told you what a remarkable individual Mr. Williams was. Also, what a remarkable Mercedes-Benz is in front of you. A true one-off body by the Mayfair Carriage Company. Ladies and gentlemen, don't miss the opportunity.
I mean, a lot of the parts that they were using to build this with, they were also putting into the race cars of those days, those pre-war Mercedes that were running the world and doing so much in terms of their speed on track. So this has the guts in the race car in a beautiful body.
Put your hands together.
Thank you all very much.
Oh my goodness. What a moment.
The runner-up on our top sellers list is a 2018 Bugatti Chiron that features the fully exposed carbon fiber option.
Bugatti. It features the full exposed carbon fiber option. It's powered by an 8-liter 16-cylinder engine.
Okay, with that, a very special car with a very special name. Lot 1378 is a 2018 Bugatti Chiron. What's the Chiron? Louis Chiron. The oldest man to enter a Formula One race at age 58, a winner of the Monaco Grand Prix and the Monte Carlo Rally.
Oh,
This is named for
1.3, 1.5, 1.6. You can't call the bid fast enough.
Well, for a moment there, they were equal to the horsepower, which is 1,500. Now we're over that. It's a 16-cylinder motor, 1,500 horsepower, and the number's still going.
0 to 60 in 2.3. 8 liters, 16 cylinders, 4 turbochargers. Why? Because too much is never enough.
Well, remember the Bugatti Veyron? You know, that was really cool. That was really potent. That was spectacular. How do you follow it up? Well, this was the successor to the Veyron.
The exposed carbon option is $200,000 for the front color and $200,000 for the back color. They don't make these anymore. This is an opportunity right here. Gorgeous colors, great build on this car. Only problem is the price right now, Joseph.
Emma's got $2,000,007.
And it's interesting to look at that Bugatti we had crossing the block just a little while ago. It was a nice touring car, a pleasant little thing for driving through the Alps. Now it is all about massive performance.
In fact, they had to limit the top speed of these, the Veyron and the Chiron, because the tires couldn't take it. They would melt the tires at 250 plus miles per hour.
You got 7, you got 8. Is that right? $2,000,008. I'll give you a favor.
French Racing Blue on the brake calipers and the diamond stitched leather interior. And the carbon fiber is not black, not gray, but a deep, deep blue.
Joseph Mass is trying to figure out all these. He's got 3 bidders actively involved. They need to make sure who has which bid.
My goodness. $2.7 million.
And at number 1 on our top sellers list, we have one of the most beautiful cars ever built, a 1956 Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Gullwing. This one, the recipient of a 3-year body-off concours restoration.
We've sold a lot of Gullwings. I've owned 3 of them. This is the nicest one I've ever seen. Turnkey. It did the first day on the Colorado Grand to help sort it out. The consignor took it back, tweaked the suspension. You stab the brakes, it stops dead straight, it shifts, it runs beautifully. Let's get a new owner.
Originally delivered in Italy, made its way to the United States. Number 225 of 311 hand-built 300 SL Gullwing coupes.
All right, take a look at the chassis cam as it rolls over because we can see how beautiful it is up top, and I have a feeling it's going to look just as nice down below. Boy, not what we've been seeing so far today, you know, with those Art Morrison chassis. This is a very complex setup, a very complex build. The drive shaft going all the way to the back. Boy, nothing simple about this. And look at the bid right now.
Well, we did catch a glimpse because it's mounted somewhat sideways on that direct fuel injection on the 3-liter 6-cylinder. Horsepower around 240, top speed about 160 miles an hour, which in 1956, that was really something.
The intriguing thing about this car is this was developed from a race car. In other words, a lot of times when car manufacturers build something, they build it and then they go racing with it. In this case, Mercedes went racing with the 300 SL and then they developed the street version afterwards. So this is a development of a true race car.
And that's the practical reason for the gull-wing doors. It's a race car with a tubular chassis. That door frame is very high and very wide, and they needed to figure out a way for the drivers to get in. The gull-wing made sense, and it looked fantastic.
You're right, it was dictated. The bottom of the door height was dictated by the chassis, and the steering wheel swings not away, but it tilts forward at the top for ingress and egress.
And the reality is this car is automotive royalty. When you do your top 10 list of the greatest cars of all time, not only does this deserve a place, this easily stands a chance of being the #1 car. You look at the trends, the direct fuel injection, the gull-wing doors. You look at those headlights. Take a look at what came out in the Corvettes years later, and throughout the 50s, and essentially everybody was copying this look.
Whoa, whoa, top sale. 2.8 million bid, we're 3 million bid.
Well, just a top-notch restoration in the finest color. They added the Rouge knockoff wheels. It is perfect.
$3.1 million.
Thanks for tuning in to our top sellers from Barrett-Jackson's 2024 Scottsdale Auction. Click down below to make sure you like and subscribe so you can watch more Barrett-Jackson auction action.